it's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. Hi, I'm Grant Morris. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common, other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today we're at the fabulous Wayfare on Ferret Street, which is a couple of blocks down from Napoleon Avenue. It used to be called the Killing Fields here for a while, but now it's all got hip and groovy, and you can come and you can enjoy Happy Hour here for 4 hours every single day at Wayfare from 3 till 7. And they have an awesome brunch on the weekends. And the music you're hearing in the background is being played by CR Gruver, who's normally a member of the New Orleans Suspects, but we've managed to sneak him away here for today. Also being joined by photographer Curtis Knapp. Hey, Curtis, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm getting there.
You're getting there?
Yes.
One more Coca-Cola and you'll be in good shape.
Okay.
And Allie James is here too. Hi, Allie.
Hi.
How's it going?
Great.
Good. Okay. Just talking to that microphone. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about Happy Hour today. It's brought to us by Strategic Resumes, by Travel Central Elementary, by Basics Swim and Gym, by Hangover Destroyer, and by the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage. If you'd like to be a member of our Patreon family, you can go to patreon.com and search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour, and you too can be a member of our Happy Hour family for as little as $1 a month. Andrew Duhon is not here today. He's on the road somewhere. If you want to find out if he's in a town near you, go to andrewduhon.com and check him out. And you can also look for his new record, False River. That's out anywhere you buy or steal music. CR Gruver, thank you very much. Very nice.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Seamlessly integrated into the whole thing. Where did the CR come from? Have you always been that?
Yeah, I was named that at birth, so it's been my whole life.
You were christened CR.
I was christened CR. My father's name was Charles Robert, so he didn't want me to be a Chuck or a Chaz or a Charlie or a Bobby, and so he went with CR, and I've been that ever since.
And what was he?
He was...
Did people call him Charles or Chuck? Did people call him Charles or Chuck or what?
He was Bobby until he was about 48 years old, and finally shook the Bobby and became Bob, which I think is part of his intrepidation of me being a derivative. Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because after being in New Orleans now for 12 years, my nickname has become Charlie. A lot of my musician friends call me Charlie. So as much as I've fought it my entire life, here we are.
So now you're back to Charlie.
Yeah.
So
That's how it works, right?
Where did you come from? Where did you start out?
I moved here from Colorado, but I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And for anyone who doesn't know you, you're one of the most New Orleans piano players of all time.
Wow.
You're in the same line as
You've had a
Toots
few
Washington,
drinks.
Professor Longhair, Dr. John Cleary,
Right, of course.
and you.
And now Charlie.
In Charlie. But how did you get to be able to play? Have you guys ever heard CR play? Curtis, have you heard him play?
No, sorry.
Have you ever heard?
I have. I don't remember.
What do you
Just the last few minutes.
Do you want to play like
need to-
2 or 3 bars of some real New Orleans thing, just to show these guys what I'm talking about? You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? I'm not making that up, right? That is the real deal. How did you learn how do you come from Colorado and be able to play like a real New Orleans piano?
I was lucky in that my father, Bob, was New Orleans was his favorite city in the entire world. So he would come down here 4 times a year on, air quote, business, what he would call business.
What did he do, actually?
He was in public relations.
Really?
I'm not sure what he did here. I doubt it was legitimate business, but it was fun for him, and he'd come home with records. So I was raised with this huge record collection of New Orleans music.
Wow.
He was good buddies with Al Hurt and hung with Pete Fountain a little bit. So he loved music and surrounded us by it.
Wonder how you get to meet Al Hurt if you come down here on business.
He was a fun guy.
Your dad was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was always the life of the party.
Right.
So I was raised with that music and always inspired by it. And as I discovered that kind of piano style, like in Little Feat and other rock and roll bands, I always gravitated towards it. And so it's been a part of my life musically for my whole life, really.
And what made you finally come here then?
I met a girl in Colorado.
That's what does it.
Yep.
And she's from here.
She's from here.
And she dragged you
probably
back.
10 generations deep. And after Katrina hit, she wanted to be closer to her family. So she dragged me, kicking and screaming.
Well, it must be
But not
awful
really.
for you living here. It's horrible.
I
I
said-
can't
she
imagine
said
how you,
that-
but how could you survive anywhere else, though? Where else could you live?
I couldn't. I can't believe I have that long. So, yeah, when she said she wanted to move to New Orleans, I said, let's leave tomorrow.
Right.
You know, as a piano player, there's no better place to be.
Right.
So.
And how did you get hooked up with the New Orleans Suspects? They used to be called the Usual
It
Suspects.
started as the usual.
Right.
Yes. So it was a Maple Leaf thing.
Okay.
The owner, Hank Staples, he would put together a band. Whenever a band wouldn't show up or he'd forget to book one or whatever would happen, he'd call around to his short list of musicians in the neighborhood and say, I'm just putting together the Usual Suspects. And so I was fortunate enough, I was living in French's Gallery when I first moved here, across the street.
You were
from
living in
Maple
French's
Leaf.
Gallery across the street from the Maple Leaf?
Yeah, so
That's got to be a
I was
story
part
in
of that short list
itself.
just by default. And it was Regis Scanlon and myself and Kevin O'Day in the early years and Sam Hotchkiss and Jake Eckert. And that has morphed into what is now. Went from the Usual Suspects to then the Unusual Suspects. And then once we became serious and started touring, we turned into the New Orleans Suspects.
And you were playing where?
Curtis.
At the Maple Leaf Bar down
Okay.
Oak Street.
Okay, so they told me that this guy Curtis Knapp was going to be on the show today. So I went online on the internet.
Fair enough.
You know about the internet,
Fair enough.
right? Okay.
Yes.
And so this is what I found. You've taken photographs and these are the iconic photos of these people as well. Not just some sort of random shot, but the photo you know of Tina Turner, Dennis Hopper, Timothy Leary, the B-52s, Andy Warhol, the iconic Lou Reed photo with the sunglasses.
Awesome.
John Lennon, Simon Le Bon, it goes on and on and on and on and on. There's hundreds of them.
Yes.
And you live in New Orleans too.
I'm in witness protection down here.
It seems like it.
And I don't have an ulcer like everyone else back in advertising.
Is that where you came from, the advertising?
I did it for 20 years. I lived in Japan, and it was mainly advertising and music companies over there with Japanese talent.
It's so easy to say that, isn't it? Just like you just spit it out in half a sentence. I lived in Japan for 20
I add
years.
to everything. I can't help it. That was my life.
20 years in Japan.
Yeah. I went for 2, but I got trapped by the yen until a bubble burst everywhere in the world. And
Because you were making too much money?
no, the bubble just burst, and kids were coming along to the creative directors at Dentsu or Leo Burnett with digital cameras, and they would be paid a quarter of what I had built up to.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was the day. There was a day when photography just came to an end, and that was it. But until then, you were living in Japan. What part of Japan were you in?
Tokyo, Yagumo, Meguroku,
Do you
Toritsu Daigaku Station.
and you speak Japanese, I assume.
Street language, not textbook.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Japan?
Ex-wife said, we're going to Japan. I said, yes, ma'am.
Is she Japanese?
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's got something to do with it. Okay, so you met a woman who's Japanese who
In
dragged
New
you
York.
to Tokyo. You met a woman from New Orleans here who dragged you to New Orleans. Allie, did you meet any woman who dragged you?
No, but I dragged my husband here.
You did? Mm-hmm. So where are you from originally?
Natchez, Mississippi.
Natchez, Mississippi. Have you guys been there?
Yeah.
no.
That's a hell of a place, Natchez, Mississippi.
It is.
Isn't it?
It's a great place.
It's interesting. Do you go back there?
Sometimes. For when friends are in town.
It's
yeah.
a super weird town, Natchez, Mississippi.
It's really strange.
It is.
On the surface, it's really lovely. Yeah, but when the sun goes down, it gets
What happens when-
really
what happens?
weird and
Does it?
Natchez. Yeah.
I would like to see some more of that. I didn't get to see any of that when I was there. What happens when the sun goes down?
Well, one of the last times I was there, we were in a bar under the hill. I don't know if you've been to the saloon under the hill.
Yes, I know exactly where that is. There's like a troll-looking guy that was there when I was there.
Yeah. And if he drinks enough, he will stand on the bar and sing House of the Rising Sun and rip his shirt off wearing a hat with a giant turkey feather in it.
Okay.
So he's doing that.
He's still there,
Someone
okay.
walks in, unzips their jacket, and he's like, look what I found. He has 2 baby raccoons in it that are now running wild around the bar. Yeah. My friend Wayne was showing me how to throw dollar bills into the ceiling. We fell out the back door, at the front door, actually. It Natchez. And bars stay open all night. It's a resort. It's weird.
It is a weird.
I had a friend whose husband had gone to rehab, and they were going to Natchez for the holidays. And he said, I've got to find an AA meeting. And there weren't any. He had to go to Port Gibson to go to AA.
Why would there be? Because there's not enough people in Natchez, or just nobody quits drinking?
No one quits drinking. Yeah.
And what did you grow up there from childhood?
From lower school. We moved there sixth grade.
Why would your parents move to Natchez?
Yeah, oil and gas.
Aha.
I'm not a musician. I don't know how to use the microphone.
Oil and gas.
Yes.
There's oil and gas in Natchez.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
tourism.
Right.
Yeah.
I got the feeling when I was only there for like 2 or 3 days, but I got the feeling that no one had told them that the Civil War was over.
It is a problem.
Still seemed to be black and white was completely separated.
It's as much of the South, it definitely has a ways to go. Yeah, but it's an interesting little town. But
well, you got out of there.
Yes, yeah, but go back every now and again.
Then you dragged your husband here. Was he from there too?
No.
Where was he from?
Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so he moved here. He had finished graduate school, moved here, and
culture shock.
God, it's still is a culture shock. Yeah. And anyway, so now he's been here. I'm trying to think how long we've been together. 12 years. Although we are separating, but it's very, very amicable.
But it's secret.
Okay.
And I just bought a house, and I have a little rental unit in the back, and he lives back there. It's great.
You're renting the rental unit in your new house to your soon-to-be ex-husband.
My Wusband, and he pays me rent. It's working out really well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I know. He just sent me a text and said, I fed the dog. And I'm like, great, good.
This is good. So
I can stay here drinking.
Why are you getting divorced?
It's just run its course. It was just time.
What? Not really, no. Not if you're going to stay living in the same house and he's looking after your dog.
I don't think he'll be there forever, but maybe he will. I don't know. Anybody been divorced?
I just got divorced myself about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Divorce. You're divorced.
Curtis, are you divorced as well?
Yes.
Come over here.
Yes.
Okay. So, Curtis, would you stay living with your ex-wife in the same building and have her look after your dog for you?
No, I would not do that. I'm still best friends with my couple of ladies from the past, but my college first love is still my best friend.
Okay, but that was not the woman you married.
No.
That's where you did the right thing. You stayed friends with someone and didn't marry them.
Well, friendship's better than sex. So as I look for the next ex-Mrs. Knapp, it's...
What are you looking for? Not sex?
Friendship.
You're not looking to have sex with the next...
Good friendship.
What about sex? Is that part of it? Or less?
Stay tuned.
Okay, CR, what ended your marriage?
I'm a musician.
Another musician?
That's it. No, I am a musician.
Oh, you are one. Oh, I see.
That's all you got to say, really.
It's hard to keep it together.
I could never marry a musician.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're unfaithful or because you've gone too long?
Gone too much. Gone all the time. And
But did you know that going in?
Of course. But you don't realize the difficulty that it is to be married to something like that or someone like that.
That's sad, isn't it?
It is.
Because
but again, we're also better friends now than we were when we were married. So I wouldn't let her live in my house, and she wouldn't either with me. But we're great friends, and it's all amicable.
Yeah.
Are you dating anybody then, Curtis?
I live with someone.
Oh, so you...
And great friend.
Okay.
Wonderful
So
person.
it's the same. What's the difference between living with someone and marrying them?
I don't know.
Thomas.
I don't know the answer to that. I was going to ask what percentage of musicians do you think are divorced?
Probably about 75.
Oof.
I know 50 is the national average, and we're way higher than that. So it might even be 80. Yeah.
Are we still at 50% for a national average?
I think it's even higher.
Really?
I think it's even higher
I
than
thought it
that.
was going down.
I think it's going up.
Yeah.
Is it?
Depends on what you listen to, I guess.
I thought that
I
millennials...
believe everything I read on Facebook.
Are you on Facebook at all?
Yes, I am.
You are. I thought you didn't even have a phone.
You've done your research.
He uses his landline to
you
access
said
Facebook.
Landline. Call me on the landline.
You said you don't
He has
have...
a dial-up modem.
With a round thing on it.
Yeah.
Listen, so we've got these koozies that Allie bought with her for conversation
Well,
starters.
my mother said I always should, if I go to a party, I need to bring a gift.
It's very nice. This one says, even duct tape can't fix stupid, but it can muffle the sound. That's a pretty good one.
That's a good one.
Where'd you get these? At the dollar store?
The Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree.
My favorite
Very good.
store.
It's a great store.
So,
Fantastic.
Curtis, what got you to come to New Orleans? You could have lived anywhere.
Well, I moved back to the States. I sound so serious. Shit.
Okay.
I moved back to the States and was teaching in D.C.
Right.
And when I went home after 2 years to New York City,
You're from New York City.
it's like NYU owns the East Village and all the artists have moved out. So I said, screw it, and I packed a truck. And I missed architecture living in Japan. And this place is beautiful.
Had you been here before?
No.
You
But
just-
I have a high school friend
Hang
who
on, hang
moved
on,
here,
hang on.
and I trust his opinion.
Okay.
And
You were in
I'm-
high school pretty recently then.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, so your high school, you're still in touch with the dude from high school.
Oh, yes, we have lunch every week.
Okay, and
that's
he's
great.
here.
Yes.
And he said
Came
if you-
for college and stayed.
Okay, and he said if you want to get out of New York City, why don't you just pack up a truck
No,
and
I
move
was
to
on
New
my
Orleans?
way to Taos to open a gallery, and I realized the people were crazy, so I stayed here.
Wow, okay.
They're not crazy here at all.
so so you
Maybe
came,
not Taos crazy.
I can get very methodical about work.
so you came here
Otherwise, I act like a goofball.
you came here sight unseen
Yes,
to New Orleans.
correct.
Jesus, that is awesome. How long have you been here?
I forgot.
Okay, well that's good.
sign.
So that's a
Blur.
that's a real New Orleanian. Holy crap!
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
And do people recognize you? Does anyone say, "Oh, you're the guy who wrote the book about"? And they also wrote How
No.
many books have you written? 4 or 5?
Well, they're photo books.
Right. Well, when I say written, what do you say for that? Assembled.
10
Published.
maybe, but I
10.
like only 5.
You've made 10 books.
Yeah.
Of your photographs.
5 were commercial for stars, so I don't count that as art.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the Madonna book?
I don't know. There were so many fans that wanted that collection. So, and we did a limited printing in France or Italy or something, but it went, you know. So
We put Madonna's name on something and it
Yeah.
would sell, I would imagine.
yeah.
So how did you come to
She
be
was
the
all right.
person that she chose of all the photographers in the
She
world?
had a friend, Mary Paul, who was a stylist, and she knew the guys making Island magazine. They put it together, and that was my style, what they wanted visually. So, and it was all an East Village thing at the time. So it just got put together. And I was still half the time doing children's illustration at the time. I wasn't full-fledged.
You're an
in the-
illustrator?
Once upon a time.
Hey, you want to draw something on the table?
No.
I got a spare
Positive.
pen.
Is it
Positive.
Curtis? Is it Curtis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Curtis. When were you living in New York?
Don't
Sorry,
look
sorry.
at him.
All right.
Oh, invisible person. 70 to 84. So it's the punk scene with CBGBs and Maxes every night.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
ask
Good
you
era.
I mean, that
if you
no
were
matter
there
what
for
you
that
were
era.
doing, even hacking a cab, that's.
Well, you're
you know,
looking
you
pretty
went down.
young for a guy who was hanging out in 1970 in New York. That's
I
now
have-
like 108 years
I
ago.
have a good face person. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it? Do you get Botox or anything?
No.
It's all natural.
Yeah.
That's got to say something for clean. Is it clean living or do you put
Oh
down to the
yeah.
heroin?
I'm down to only a pack and a half a day.
Well, you're smoking cigarettes, right? You're still smoking cigarettes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. So it's just genes. You just got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where are
Thank
you-
you, Dad. You gave
Yeah.
me hair.
Well, yeah, you got all your hair. You look like a
Yeah.
young guy, doesn't he, Asher?
I guess.
Well, how old would you say he was if you didn't know?
Between 50 and 60 years old.
15.
Oh, exactly.
There you go.
Wow, he's clever. Okay.
All right. He is clever. That's why he's.
No, but I think I stay active with what I do. I mean, I
Right.
never want to retire. It's like Klein. You want the elephant at the fashion shooting to fall on you and kill you or something. You know, you don't want to retire. And if I retired, I'd be doing what I'm
Right.
doing now.
But what was it like when when their iPhone came out and everyone's a photographer suddenly?
Well, I've quit 1 or 2 photo houses because they've been taking on everybody going to concerts, and before
Right.
the concert's over, it's online. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm on Getty Images, and they take care of the editorial crap out there. But I don't chase everybody on print teps or whatever it is that are using my pictures. I get an ulcer and die.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So
what about
screw it.
So people are stealing your work off the internet.
Well, they're not using it commercially, or I go after them, but it's not that often.
But what about the fact that you had a real career, like you're taking photos? I mean, people didn't used to have cameras back in the day. No one had a camera.
I still got the Hasselblad in the drawer, you know.
What is that? It's a fancy type of camera?
2 1/4 square format, which the cell phones have all gone back to now, is a square
really?
photograph. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
The formatting, yeah.
But you must have been making lots of money as a photographer, like not just you, but everybody who was
I was
an
advertising whore.
Yeah. There was a huge amount of money in it.
Japan was great, you know.
So what happens? I mean, there aren't many careers that come to a sudden end like that, like the photography career. Because, I mean, no one used to take photos. None of us here would have had a camera. Now we're all taking photos constantly.
Yeah. I think it's how you choose your subject matter, whether it's flowers, children, portraits in the studio, and you just have to focus on that. And actually, the part of the glib of LA I didn't like. I went over there for 2 years and then back to Tokyo. You've got to become a photo star for the stars to choose you. And I just can't deal with the bullshit. So, you know, I'm living here, and I love it.
But you say that, though. But look at all these famous people whose photos you've taken. How did you get to take Timothy Leary's photo and Dennis Hopper and Tina Turner?
Cold calling, mostly.
You just called up Andy Warhol.
It's like dominoes.
You called up...
Oh, Andy I paid cash to. He said, "You'll pay me in cash?" I said, "Yeah." "How much?" I said, $325 a day for 2 or 3 hours. So he said, "Can I do it for 3 days? You'll pay cash?" I said, "What's the matter?" His studio was just across the street. And he said, "It's all paper money up here. You'll pay cash? Great." So
that's how you get to take Andy Warhol's photo.
It was easy, yeah.
Well, that's pretty
You'd see each other, but, you know,
right.
I had a proposition for something cute.
Okay, what about who else? Tina Turner.
Slash, I don't know.
Slash, that's a great photo. So that photo of Slash that we all know you took, the one with all the hair and the top hat and you can't see his face.
Yeah.
That's your photo.
That's every picture of Slash.
I'll send you my topless one of him. You know,
okay.
He's married with kids now, I think. Duff is really nice. The other guy in Guns.
Right.
And Duff is incredibly
So you were
sweet.
hanging out with these guys in Guns N' Roses?
I don't know. Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols had a band for about 2 minutes called the Neurotic Outsiders. Where are you from? Tasmania?
Close, New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I could tell the accent, you know. Sorry. It's living in the Pacific.
You couldn't have got much closer to New Zealand than Tasmania. There was nothing in between. So that was pretty good.
It's across the I can see it from my kitchen.
Yeah, like Sarah Palin of Tasmania. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
how do we get on? What's
I'm shooting everybody in my dining room.
Really?
Yeah, or my hotel room. If I go to LA for commercial work, I'd have people coming over to the hotel room, and I'd take portraits.
So they're calling you, or you're calling them?
No, I'm cold calling.
That's fucking cool. Could you even? I always thought people must call you.
No, the weird thing is when I came
wild.
home and I went to New York and I'm looking for a rep, they were amazed. I have no model releases from anybody. And now, it used to be in '84, 1.5 pieces of paper. Now it's something this thick.
It's like a 40-page
all
document.
All the model release crap. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
So you're out of all that here?
No, I'm all out.
So
I don't sell them commercially, like for a jigsaw puzzle or something.
So what are you taking photos of down here then? Musicians?
I do a lot of things for the Jazz Museum. So when we have cocktail parties or celebrity things, I take the whole studio down there with the strobes and the bank box, and I shoot a whole shitload of portraits.
Jazz Museum. Were you familiar there was a Jazz Museum here in LA?
The U.S. Mint.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes.
That is cool. That's David
They're
Coonian's.
rock. Yes, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
And
right.
Greg,
He's a great guy.
They're rocking down there.
Yeah.
They're doing some nice things.
They have a Professor Longhair exhibit.
That's right.
Down there.
That's
right.
So did you listen to Professor Longhair when you started out?
Not when I started out. Not till I was my mid-20s probably. And then it hit me like a
Yeah, that must have been a mind-blowing moment.
I like the guy who had his eye poked
That's
out.
James Booker.
Yeah.
When I heard him, I had the
his
same
shit is
experience.
Great.
Yeah. I didn't know about him, embarrassingly enough, until I moved here 12
Till I
years
moved
ago.
here, right.
And it was an even bigger freight train.
And now I know 5 different stories on how he lost that damn eye.
All of them good.
Yeah.
It's not a
What
bad
are they?
story.
What's the best? I have no idea. How did he lose his eye?
Probably the most famous story is he was working for Ringo Starr as a studio musician out in L.A.
When he had 2 eyes at this point.
He had 2 eyes.
Okay.
He was still okay. Still,
This is one of the
still a
five
junkie.
right now.
Yeah, he still had trouble with some substances, and he went back like 2 or 3 times to get paid for the same session. And by the 3rd time, Ringo got hip to it and sent some of his goons out to mess him up a little bit.
In
and
the
in the
parking
messing
lot,
up, they knocked an eye out. And
Ringo
and part of that mythology
he
is
kept
that,
borrowing money from him.
yeah, we're saying that he hasn't gotten paid
the
yet.
hell with this.
And then there'd be actual nights where he would play nothing but Beatles songs, and the theory behind that, or folklore, is that his eye was hurting that day more than usual. So he has a fuck
he
you
did
to
really
Ringo.
well out there in
He did
California,
great.
didn't he? Yeah.
But that's just one of a multitude.
I never heard that. Have you seen there's a documentary about it?
Oh yeah, Lily
Yeah.
Kybers. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. Have you seen that
No,
documentary?
but it
Curtis?
could have
It's
been a screwdriver in the Bronx on a bad drug deal.
He could have
that's
done
another
himself,
story.
Yeah. He could have fallen down the steps. I mean,
But getting your eye poked out by Ringo Starr's heavy is a pretty good.
It's a great story.
That's a great
I
story.
always loved
You
that
know
one.
the
I mean, if you
breaking
have
the
your
Frank
eye poked
Sinatra
out-
statues in Las Vegas in their office building? And they beat the shit out of them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Probably all true stories. Is you
Yeah.
lose the eye is the question.
Yeah. Hey, CR, let's make you play something then.
Okay.
It's an actual song.
Yeah. A song.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Do you need a mic over
some
there?
little thing. I'll just
Some
make something
Keith
up.
Jarrett, you know?
Do you need a mic? You want to sing
I'll
something?
just play a little something.
Okay.
Easy, yeah.
All right.
Too kind.
Wow.
Too kind.
It looks so easy. Oh, like, here's someone call me. I'm not taking that.
No, take it.
It looks so. I don't know who that is. It looks so easy.
It is. It's all pre-recorded.
How did you start out? You started out as a classically trained
I was
musician.
Yeah, from the time I was 9 till about 14. And when you discover weed and rock and roll, classical music becomes a
Goes out the
shadow.
window.
Yes.
But can you still play classical? Can you still sit down and play?
No, not really. No,
No,
not like
it
I
just
used
all
to.
went out the window.
Yeah.
Ellie,
Like I
do you
said, a lot
play
of weed.
anything?
No.
Did you ever play an instrument?
I took violin lessons.
Yeah.
But
that is an instrument.
yeah, but only because I wanted the violin.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you mean you wanted the violin?
I just wanted a violin.
You just like the look
So I
of
was
it.
like, I want to take
They're
violin
pretty cool.
lessons, and my parents let me take violin. I got a violin.
Were you any good?
It was like no, I was terrible. It was like I wanted toe shoes, so I took ballet. I told my mother, I was like, you should have just bought me the $35 pair of shoes. We could have cut out ballet altogether.
You just like things.
Yeah.
You
Things
just like
that
to.
go with stuff.
You just like.
Looks good on the wall. You
Yeah.
know?
What is
You know.
what is good about toe shoes?
Well,
Toe shoes are those pink things that you strap on with silk.
with the ribbons and.
You liked how that looked.
Yeah, when I was in 6th grade, they were really pretty, and I really wanted them, and so I
the only way you could
suffered
get them.
through
And my
ballet.
daughter, yeah.
And it was
In
horrible.
the little tutu thing, you know?
God, I hated it. But I got the
but you
shoes,
got
and
the
as soon as I
shoes.
got the shoes, I quit. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Well, how far did you get with the violin then?
Oh. I think,
To the bus stop.
yeah. No.
Are you-
A couple of
Are you
months.
starting to see a pattern here?
What I would do is I had a tape recorder, and I would tape record myself practicing
Oh, geez,
in
that
my
must have been
room.
great.
And then I
That's
would
suicidal.
just play it back.
Wow, now
and
they
read
have
books.
cameras
Yeah,
in every
Are you
room.
serious? You're like a serious cheat.
I was.
You would tape record yourself playing violin
Yeah.
and then play
then
the
I would just
tape
play it back.
and sit in your room.
Yeah, and do other stuff.
That's masochistic.
Play.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and listen to myself playing. It
Listen to
was
that.
horrible.
That's
Well, it's
interesting.
very ambient, you know?
Yeah, you know.
But do you think the same thing has happened with your husband?
Yeah.
That you just wanted a husband because there was
No.
something you wanted?
No.
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 You really wanted to be in love.
No. I really needed health insurance.
That was it.
That was it.
Is that the best way to get it? Is to
It was
Marriage
at the
it
time.
was.
And now
but,
no
but
one
I'm a
has
little
it.
worried
but I
about you
loved
because
him.
I'm not sure that you're
but
kidding.
but I loved him very much, and I still care for him very much. But no, at the time, actually, I needed health insurance. Yeah,
But I'm
that's why
turning
we got
off his
married.
water tomorrow.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
What came first, love or health insurance?
Oh, love.
Requirement. You
Love,
fell in love
house.
first, and
And a
then you
cocktail.
Then
thought.
health insurance. Then marriage. Then health insurance. And you know,
What happens now that you're getting
dolls.
divorced? Are you going to be able to stay on as insurance?
No,
Or
I
do you
have
have
my
your
own
own
insurance
now?
now. I just didn't at the time, and
Okay.
I get very, very nervous. And I was like, if I go outside and I fall down and break my arm, we're going to lose everything we own, which is not very much, but it made me very nervous.
You don't like to.
But now I take lots of Prozac, so I don't get that nervous.
How much do you take?
I don't know.
Do you have any-
enough?
Do you have any to share?
Enough.
Yeah, you have any? Do you have any
Come
on
on.
you?
Yeah. No. Well, you have to. It builds up over time, but.
It takes weeks for it to start working.
Yeah.
Apparently, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
What kind of drugs are you on, Curtis?
It's a long pause.
It's live.
It's a
so
I,
it's,
I smoke once in a while.
just weed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I stopped drinking.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
about other drugs? Because you must have come up at a pretty interesting drug time in New York. and-
New York
The
totally
interesting.
was.
Yeah.
But my ex
Well-
said, we're going to Japan, you'll stop everything. And they drink there for business on a
Right.
high level. So, and I'm an ugly drunk. So
yeah.
when I got off the plane here, I slowed down over a year, and down here, it's like, God, I'm going to look like that as it walks by, because everyone on Decatur Street is
New
usually
Orleans is
smashed
a
at one
good
point
place
or
to make
another.
you quit.
Yeah, yeah.
Not many
It's
people
all
come-
cosmetic.
Not many people come to New Orleans to quit drinking. I have to tell you. In case you-
That's good.
Nobody, in fact.
That's
I
good.
definitely cleaned up. We moved here from Denver. Denver is a party town.
Oh,
Is it true?
I'll
it is
bet.
ridiculous.
But you moved here before pot was legal.
Colfax.
Yeah, I did. It doesn't matter. There, it does not matter.
You don't know Snoop Duty or some guy out there?
Snoop Dogg. So yeah, my ex-wife and I moved here to clean ourselves up, and it was very effective.
So there's two out of
we
four
didn't
people at
stop
the table
drinking
moved to New
though.
Orleans.
That'd be silly
Right.
for us.
But moving to Japan will do it. What's going? They don't do cocaine and whatever the hell else you were doing in New York back in the days in Japan.
No, it's pretty clean. It's pretty
It's still
straight
like
up.
that, do you think?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I mean, there's a small underground, but I was doing such nice jobs. I wasn't going
Right.
to screw it up.
Right.
And I had kids, and so I played the Boy Scout for a while on that.
And where are your kids today?
Alive with all their fingers.
All right.
You know?
Are any of them here or not?
I think Bronwyn and her husband and kids are in Portland for a little bit. The other one is still back home, and
in New York.
thank God they're bilingual for the job opportunities. That kind of thing.
What do they do?
I'm not allowed to say.
It's just state
That's a
secret.
good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they translators or something?
No. They're in commerce.
Okay. Well, that's good.
right.
So they've gone to business. So they rebelled against your artistic lifestyle.
Hey, they're smarter than I am.
Okay.
I've done a nice job,
All
my
right.
ex said.
And Ellie, what do you do? You're a fundraiser.
Yeah.
So you're like a professional what's the word
ask
for
her
it?
money.
I wouldn't want to say beggar is what I was going to say, but that's not the right word.
Philanthropist?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I do a lot, I kind of manage volunteers really to ask for money for me.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. For educational institutions, which we're not allowed to say name.
Well, I mean, I've worked for a lot of nonprofits
Right.
in town.
So
Not
how
a
did you
lot,
get a
but
gig like that? What did you start out doing?
I was in banking and got wrangled into doing something like a United Way campaign and didn't. Oh, sorry.
All right.
My microphone. And didn't want to do it anyway. But there was somebody there, actually from the food bank, who was giving a presentation about the food bank and the organization and talking about her job. And I said, well, that's really cool. You know, I'd love to do something like that. And she said, oh, we have a job opening. You should apply for it. And I went, okay. And I did, and I wound up working there.
At the food bank. So you went from
Second
an
Harvest.
actual money bank to the Second
To the
Harvest
food bank.
bank.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
unusual.
It's and hunger
Trajectory.
is a cause still very dear to my heart. I worked there. I worked at Unity of Greater New Orleans with the homeless.
What do they do? That's homeless.
They work with the homeless. Yeah.
Unity. Are you familiar with that one, you guys?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk to me about homeless and gutter punks in this town.
You live in the quarter.
I'm there every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't live in the
Yeah.
quarter, but you're there every day. That's interesting.
Yes.
That's weirder, even weirder.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because
You
I'm
like,
weird.
You like to get a
So
hurricane
what?
and walk.
What do you mean by that?
Where do you live? What part of
Tell
town
me
do you
about this oxymoron nonprofit. It seems like the people running them have a lot of money in their pockets.
live? Some of them do.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like a twisted sentence to me for some reason.
I-
We're very profit.
There are. I mean, there are plenty of nonprofits where
Yeah.
people, their executives, get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you know, you can. I always encourage people, if you are donating, to look the charity up. Don't just blindly give money. You can look it up on Charity Navigator, or there's a million sites online.
Navigator. What is that?
To find out.
Same with internet dating.
Yeah.
Check them out
Yeah,
first.
I mean, you can pull up their 990s. You can find out you can see what their top executives get paid. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But the ones I've worked for I've been very happy there,
Yeah.
and it felt very comfortable with the way that the organization was run. So, yeah.
So do you get a commission?
No.
You just get a flat
Yes.
salary?
No.
And health insurance.
And health insurance. Yes.
What does your ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband do?
He's an evolutionary biologist.
Wow.
And
He sounds
look,
like an interesting guy.
Well, next to these two, I'm like, I might as well just take off my headphones and leave, because I'm like, well, I don't know, I raise money at a school here. I don't know. I live next door to Graham.
You live next door to Graham, a producer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's a claim to
And
fame
the
right
and the
there.
house I just bought with my husband.
With the
in back.
husband in the back.
Right.
So why does he stick around? Why doesn't he's an evolutionary biologist? Why doesn't he evolve to the next level and move on to another house? Why does he want
He's
to?
a professional
Yeah.
student,
Well, no, he it actually it's a really cool job what he does.
Yeah,
he
sounds
right.
it's
Yeah.
Who do you work
walk
for
through the
if you're an
neighborhood
evolutionary?
and he's like, that plant will kill you. That plant will kill you. You see that he knows all kinds of
Who does he work
weird,
for?
useless stuff like that. Let me back up in case he sees this. It is not useless. It is very, but like lots of weird things, that just fascinate me. He actually works at UNO now.
So he's a professor.
He is a professor.
What else would you do if you were an evolutionary biologist?
So if he grasps
Research.
the past of a plant or animal and you have the history down, that makes the pattern or template for where it might go in the future. Is he working on the future side of things?
Well, yes. So say, because of course when we met, and I went, well, what's the practical application of this? So it would be like,
How to survive on Mars.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
the flu, or AIDS, viruses that are mutating, and part of what he
Right.
does is phylogenetics. So you would look at all of these things that are similar, and he traces them back to the original, their common ancestor.
Right.
Yeah.
The tree, yes.
Yeah. So we would our computer at home would constantly be sequencing DNA, and I'm like, I need to get on the computer. He was like, for what? I'm like, I need
fractaling the
I
outcome.
need to get on eBay. I'm sure there's some crap on
You
eBay I
didn't
need
have
to buy.
two computers in your.
Well, I like to use the big computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Yeah.
You're in my chair.
So he would have to pause the sequencing so I could, check my email and, buy some shoes or whatever I was.
So will he get Wi-Fi out in the cabin?
He does. Well, first he didn't have Wi-Fi, but he bought the thing and plugged it into my house, and so now he gets
So
it.
this all sounds all fun and games, but what happens when you meet somebody else or he meets somebody else? Then what?
I don't know.
Have you thought
I don't
this
know about
through
like
at all?
us living next to each other. And I want to believe that we will be able to stay friends. I think that we will, but I'm not foolish enough to, think that if other people get involved, it could.
Are you looking to be dating anybody?
Not really.
CR, are you single?
Yeah.
So there you
Yes.
go. And he's a musician, so he's never around, so it's perfect.
Well,
Perfect.
and for the longest time I said I wanted to marry a pilot, international, because they're gone.
See, it's just the
And
same
then,
pattern.
and,
I wish I was a
it's
psychiatrist.
really great because they're gone, and then they
Right.
come back, and you're like, oh yeah, you're home, and then they're there for maybe 3 days, and you're like, oh, there's a go again, and they leave.
I don't think you're marriage
my
material, really.
Probably not.
Doesn't sound like it. Do you
no,
think?
no.
Am I what?
Marriage material. Do you think? Not you. I'm saying Allie.
A friend of mine.
Do you,
Yeah.
well, you're living with someone.
Yes.
Again, so you're back in the same thing, really.
I'm back in the house.
Back in the.
You're in the house.
You're in the
You're
house,
not
yeah.
back.
I
You're not
love
in the
it.
back
I
house.
love it. Yes.
I know a coworker of mine was like, I'll write your dating profile. And I went, no, I don't need any of that. And she said, what would be your name? And as I was walking out of her office, I'm like, terrible wife. That's going to be my
Terrible
online
wife.
dating profile name. Yeah.
Have you looked on Match.com or any of those things yet?
No.
Not going to do it. No. What about you, CR?
I haven't, but I'm kind of curious. Just because I can now. So
Yeah.
just to see. I don't know.
You log on and see
I don't
what
think I would
happens.
go for the date, but just to kind of
Yeah.
ruffle some feathers.
But you're a musician. You're out on the road and you're playing
Yeah.
music, and,
Yeah, it's not what you think it is.
isn't it?
No,
I thought
late
women would
nights
throw
and-
themselves at you.
If they do, they're gone by the time we're done breaking our stuff down. So I have no idea.
That's lost. That takes a
Yeah.
long time. Yeah.
Is that true?
It's really true. And we usually drive after our gig to the next city or halfway there, so we're always moving.
So you're just basically hanging out with a bunch of guys, and they're old guys. You're the
Bunch of
youngest
old
guy in that
dudes.
band by
I'm the-
mile.
I'm right
Haven't
in the-
tried
I'm right in the middle.
farmers.com yet?
That would be a good one. But for the farm animals or
No. It's haven't you seen the TV
Livestock.com.
ad?
I have. Yeah.
You know,
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
with the
No.
beautiful cowgirl that walks by.
that's
What?
awesome.
You know,
They have one for everyone now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Are you shooting commercials still? Kurt?
No.
Nothing. No, just
a bunch of shows in Europe over the last year or two with some other new music photographers and not. Mainly here, I just shoot at the
at the jazz museum.
at the Mint for the jazz
That's
museum.
a full-time gig. You can make a
No,
living.
no. It's very infrequent, but I don't have to call up people. All the famous folks come there. It's
Okay.
very lovely. It's
So
nice.
how do you make a living mostly by selling images that you've shot already to publications?
There's an agent out there,
The
or there's
Get-
Getty
Getty
Images. Yeah,
So somebody's selling your
I make
photograph.
$12 every 3 months with them. You know?
Can
Sounds
you,
like Spotify.
They're
Or
infamous.
way
Yeah.
like Spotify.
Can you make a living doing that?
No one can
No.
on anything. You know, I was talking to a very famous African American musician here, who's top in the union, and he's like, Curtis, I'm playing a song. They're shooting it with the cell phone. Before I finish the song, it's up on YouTube
Yeah.
already. How do you make money? I said, and we've had this conversation 2 or 3 times every time I see him.
Well, we have this conversation on Happy Hour pretty frequently because a lot of people bring this up, and especially musicians.
Yeah.
There is no longer
Someone's
any way.
home sampling what you just
Yeah.
played right now.
They're called DJs.
Come over and right.
There doesn't seem to be any way to make a living as a musician or an artist at all anymore,
Yeah.
unless
You've got to really hustle.
Yeah.
You've got to work your ass off.
Yeah.
We travel around the country and we played with as many people as we can, but it's,
Are you teaching as well?
I opened up a school of rock.
Oh.
And here's another way I'm
Right.
trying to monetize what I do.
School of
and
Rock.
help the children, and it could be a win-win. Yeah.
You actually opened a business called School of
It's
Rock.
a franchise. Yeah, there's over 200.
Is it
around the
related to
world.
Jack Black and the movie?
That
School
movie's
of
about the guy who started the.
So who started
original-
it?
This guy named Paul Green up in Philadelphia
Okay.
back in the mid '80s.
And
And
how-
so the interesting story is they sent this movie crew out from whatever the studio is that did it, Miramax or whatever, to follow this guy Paul around for a couple weeks. He was a real character, just like Jack Black is. And the movie crew went away, and he figured he's made it. It's going to be a movie about him, and doesn't hear anything for a year and a half. The next thing he sees is the ads on TV for the movie with Jack Black. He had never heard another word from the studio.
He never got a penny.
Not a penny. Not at that point.
I love America.
Wow.
And he figured, he doesn't have the legal
sue
resources. He couldn't then because he was just a little fish. But he figured it was free advertising for his concept.
Right.
Fast forward 10 years when the Sterling Corporation buys his idea and franchises it.
Is that what
they,
happened?
of course, have the guns, legal guns, to be able to take him on. So.
The Sterling Corporation.
Yeah, it owns they own a bunch of different companies in that mid 500 level franchise businesses.
So where is your School of Rock?
It's right over the border of Jefferson Parish by Bonneville. Right next to Puglia's, if you're familiar with the hunting and fishing. We share a parking
with the
lot.
shark.
Yes, with the shark. Exactly, yeah.
Do I have to go over the
Right next there.
bridge?
Which bridge?
Any bridge.
There's always bridges here.
Okay.
You can't avoid it. Yeah.
Well, you have a problem with bridges?
I got a Schwinn.
You can put your little camera in your pocket.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
For years, I would do the shit for Sesame Street magazine.
Oh, yeah.
And working with kids are great. I'll do any kids charities. Adults, screw yourselves.
Yeah.
But kids stuff, it's important on the education level.
And it's a great concept.
Good on
But
you.
this is not a charity that you're charging these little kids.
We are. I also, speaking of nonprofits, we started a nonprofit called the Rock and Roll
And
Dream
you're rich
Foundation.
now.
Called the what?
Rock and Roll Dream Foundation. And the idea is raising money for scholarship programs for kids, collecting instruments to be able to disseminate to the community, and then holding workshops and seminars for the public at large, just, as part
You
of
can
what we
approach places like Fender and everything, and they'll sell you
We are
like,
a Fender dealership, official.
the little the mini Strats for like $1.98 if you get 20 of them.
Yeah.
So you're a businessman now, CR, with your
Apparently,
own. You're an entrepreneur.
I don't know how that happened. Yeah, overnight.
So did you have to buy into the franchise?
Yes. Yeah.
So you have to put down some cash.
You put down some
and
cash.
You buy the.
It's a 10-year contract I have with them.
And what do you get for that?
A lifetime of debt.
But do you get like a
Screaming
blueprint?
children?
Yeah.
Do you get a blueprint of how to advertise? Or
Yes. There's a lot of great resources through them. They're very supportive. They're actually a great company to be a franchisee for.
Yeah.
But they're also very flexible in what they allow us to offer. So there's a couple specific things we have to adhere to. But
like what do you have to do? What's the deal?
So the way that the very concept itself of it's performance-based. So we give a lesson a week, but part of it is also the 3-hour rehearsal later that week. And that's where you're not buying lessons, you're buying a package deal.
Okay.
Where your kid learns to play music through performing with each other.
So it's just like the movie.
It's just like the movie. We're doing 3 shows this fall. We're doing a Pink Floyd show, a Green Day show, and Women in Rock. So the kids sign up for one of those shows, and then they come to our school for 4 hours a week, basically, over 2 sessions. And they learn to play with each other in a band. They learn music individually with a private instructor. And then in January, we're playing right down the street here at Gasa Gasa.
Okay.
All of our shows are performed at Gasa Gasa in front of a live
That
audience.
is so great.
Yeah.
So are you the only teacher, or you have a staff?
I'm the owner. I have a staff of about 12 instructors.
You have 12 people.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So that's a real business.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not going to be going out on the road playing in a band, are you?
I'm doing them all. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't ever sleep.
Like you said, you got to hustle
I'm also
these
a single
days.
dad of 2
Yeah.
children, so I don't ever sleep.
Do you have the kids?
Not
No, not here.
Yeah, I do. When I'm home, I do.
So
yeah.
the kids stay with you?
They do. And,
And
then
where-
when I'm on the road, they stay with my ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're a busy guy.
It's ridiculous.
Holy shit.
Well, I don't know what I was thinking. So I have 2 jobs now that make no
Makes me
money.
very tired.
Holy crap. Yeah, 2 jobs that
When
make
I
no
was a
money.
boy,
And how old are your kids?
3 and 7.
Shit.
Yeah.
You're like Superman.
God.
That's
I wish
wild.
I felt like Superman.
I say enjoy it while,
I'm
because
enjoying
all
every
of a
minute,
sudden
yeah.
they're like, what? Can
Oh,
I have the
that-
credit card? I'm going to the mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is pretty amazing, though. That's a hell of a life you've carved out here for yourself.
It
in
is
New
something.
Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go back to Colorado sometime?
All the time. Probably
Yeah.
10 times a year.
Can I give you $20?
Yeah, can you bring us back some weed? Yeah.
It's all free out there at this point. Yeah.
Oh, man.
What's the deal with smoking weed out there in Colorado? That's what I haven't
It's
been able to figure.
recreational, so
Yeah, but where are you allowed to smoke it? Are you allowed to smoke it in public, or you have to?
not really.
No,
But there's
that's
not
the
a whole
problem.
lot of enforcement.
There's
you
not.
know. It's like alcohol. You really can't be smoking in your car. You can't go to work high, whatever. But there's not a whole lot of enforcement for that.
Okay.
They just don't care.
That's coming here, now that there's like medical marijuana
Yes.
here now.
It'll be a slow crawl here, I think.
Yeah.
I think people make way too much money putting people in jail for minor weed offenses.
There's going to be a battle, isn't there?
Yeah, there's going to be a big battle.
You think that the lawyers are going to make more money than the state would make from taxes?
It's not growing it or anything. You need to get the people that'll make money will have the selling franchises like a smoke shop.
Yeah.
They'll make buku dollars.
They made so much money in Colorado, they had to give the taxpayers like $250 billion back. I mean, they don't know what to do with all the revenue they're making.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the competition between that and the lawyers.
I mean, maybe private prisons need to start open dispensaries. You know, it's a win-win.
Now you're talking. They can cultivate it.
Yeah, but won't the money, the taxation that you're talking about, won't that offset the money that the lawyers are going to lose?
It's going to be a battle.
There's going to be much more money from legal part than illegal part. You do? Okay, we got time for one more song, Sarah. What do you think? Come on.
I don't know 2 songs.
Sorry to make.
I only know 2.
I know 1.
What are you thinking of doing this one? Do you have a record out or anything?
We have 5.
There's 5 records from the New Orleans
We're working
Suspects.
on 6, yeah.
I got 5 records, 10 books, Madonna.
It's time for you.
I'm like,
You got to do
got his
something.
Double
Alex.
Live at Budokan album.
I did have the Madonna book, though.
You do have the
We'll
book.
just leave it right there. When I was a teenager.
Oh.
This is CR Gruver from the New Orleans Suspects.
It's actually a Dr. John thing.
Okay. Wow. Nothing to it.
Yeah, nothing to it.
Allie, what are you...
Well, y'all haven't heard me play violin, so that's all I'm saying.
Next time, bring that along.
I'll bring the tape. I'll just put that on. I'll go have a beer, play the tape.
Do you know Dr. John and John Cleary and all the other guys who play like this?
I've met them all, yeah.
And do you swap notes?
I can't speak when Dr. John's in the same room. I don't get struck often, but he's one guy that when he walks in the room, I clam up.
Oh, really?
I'm a huge fan.
CR, I was going to ask, out of your top 5 piano players, how many of them are New Orleans guys?
Good question, Thomas.
3 or 4, yeah.
Which ones?
Well, Professor Longhair, obviously, James Booker, and Dr. John be the top 3.
Right.
Cleary is a close.
Cleary is.
He is
phenomenal.
Incredible,
player.
yeah.
He's done a really cool thing, taking that whole sort of Latin feel and putting it onto New Orleans piano.
And he's a better guitar player than a piano player.
Are you serious?
He's unbelievable, yeah. Piano for him is just another tool to express himself.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
So I see you have a hurricane
I do.
piece of jewelry around your neck, and we're sitting here today on Wednesday, the 10th of October, which is the same day that this gigantic hurricane has just slammed into, as we've been sitting here, slammed into the Florida Panhandle. And it's a pretty sad situation. It is. Down there. So our heart goes out to all those people.
Absolutely,
I can only imagine what's going to happen in the next 24 hours when we start hearing.
Mm-hmm.
What a bad situation that's going on there.
Yeah, Michael.
Do you spend much time at the beach, you guys?
Do I look like I spend?
Yeah. you ever go to
I burst into flame at the beach, so I try.
You don't go at all?
I do love it. I go at night.
I love.
Do you go,
I love
Allie?
the ocean. No, I never. I've had rickets twice.
Okay, now hang on a second. Is that a joke
Yeah,
or not?
that's what you think that English orphans
Rickets,
get.
isn't
no,
that from-
It's from not getting enough sun.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I thought it was from eating weevils.
Apparently,
I don't know. What is
apparently
rickets?
everybody
I don't know what
has a
rickets is.
vitamin D deficiency now.
No, they don't. I'm sure they
Yes,
don't.
no, everybody does.
They don't.
Everyone does. Everyone
you
has
have
vitamin D.
What is rickets?
Yeah, what is rickets?
You just don't have enough vitamin D. I think it
is
makes
it
your bones get all
Doesn't
weird.
it make you
yeah.
like your shins like
Yes.
bow out or some bullshit?
Yes.
Eat a banana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, they
Let's
were
have a
like,
look at your
they were
legs.
like, you have rickets. And you have to take a bunch of vitamin D. And I went home and I told my husband and I said, I've got
This
rickets.
is that recently. You haven't been married all that long. How long have you been married? 12 years, did you say?
9 years?
9 years.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway,
9 years.
I
So
said I've got
in the last
rickets.
9 years, you've had rickets twice.
Is the word so you're getting rickety comes from that?
Probably.
Might do.
Probably. Anyway, so you have to take vitamin D. And he goes, well, it's because you never go in the sun. And I said, I go in the sun all the time. And he said, walking to and from your car is not going in the sun. And I said, I go in the sun. It was like on Mardi Gras Saturday, Sunday.
You're out there all day.
Tuesday. 7 days of Jazz Fest. He was like, that's not
a
enough.
lot of sun.
That's a lot of sun.
That is a lot of sun for
Apparently,
most
though,
people.
not enough to avoid rickets. So you just have to take vitamin D. It's not that, but yeah.
And what are the symptoms? How did you know you had something wrong with you?
I don't know. They just took my blood and then told me I had rickets.
But you didn't have any symptoms. You weren't
No,
noticing that your
my
bones
legs
were
weren't all bowed
breaking
out.
or
no,
anything.
No. But now I get so. Actually, I am outside a
What
little
kind
more
of health
often.
insurance are you on? Exactly. You might want to. You might want a different provider.
Whoa.
This doesn't
Yeah.
sound like.
Why
I would
is that your side job?
Yeah,
You know, hey, I'm an
I would
insurance salesman.
get. I would get a second opinion.
No, I'm good on the rickets now.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So you don't go to the beach all that much.
No, but I do love the beach. I do. I love the ocean.
Do you ever
but
go?
I'm
See,
outside more
I'm just
often
in
now.
a great medical program. It's called Denial, and I eat healthy as hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're still smoking cigarettes.
Hell yeah.
And you do you go to
You
the
have
beach?
no idea the things that I've cold turkey, but and the cigarettes will happen soon. But
Right.
what's your question?
Right, you just quit other stuff, cold turkey.
Yeah.
That's quite a skill.
Yeah,
Okay, we
take-
got to get out of here, so we're going to have to do
Go for it.
one more koozie. I started out with nothing, and I still have most of it. Okay, that's a pretty good one.
I like
I should have that one.
You want that one, Sierra?
I have another
That's
one.
yours. Oh, what have you got?
Whoever's in charge of making sure I don't do stupid stuff is fired.
That's good too.
Yeah, it applies.
Okay,
this one's
what's
a good
this one?
too. But you also have to say it though in that really good. You have to Mississippi
do it?
voice. Don't flatter yourself, cowboy. I was looking at your truck. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Okay, Curtis, which one are you leaving with?
I'm taking the black one because it fits my wardrobe.
Yeah, do you wear black every day or just today?
Pretty much.
Pretty much every day.
Unless I'm in a Barney's Boys Town suit with Church's wingtips on. And I
Ooh.
did that on PBS here, and I looked like an idiot. So,
You did.
know.
Will they do a show about you?
yeah, once upon a time when I got here,
Yeah.
Steve Martin had a thing on WYES, where he would do artists and things. And I had a gallery at the time down on Decatur Street. And it was a nice show. He always had interesting artists on. But he was in jeans and a jacket, and I'm in my suit and a bow tie like a Deacon John, and I looked like the person that should have been giving the interview. It was very funny.
Can we see that? Is it online somewhere?
Maybe, I don't know
Probably
where.
YouTube,
Couldn't
of course.
find it. I was already.
Xerox looking for it. It's gone. Okay, we've got to get the hell out of here. Ellie James, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having
Can
me.
we find out
Thank
about you
you.
somewhere on the internet?
No.
If we look for you, are you on Twitter or Instagram or something?
I am on both, but I don't.
Snapchat.
I am on both. No, I don't even know what that is.
Snapchat.
Mississippi
That's for the
all
young
get on
people.
Snapchat.
I am, but I don't have anything on those.
So how would someone find you if they thought you were attractive sounding or looking on our Facebook thing and they'd like to get in touch?
Farmers.com.
Farmers.com. Yeah, drive through the Bayou St. John neighborhood, find the house
Christian-
that looks like Sanford and
Christian
Son.
Mingle?
That's
Okay.
my house. Yeah, Christian Mingle.
J
totally.
date?
Yeah, no, Christian Mingle, of course.
Christian Mingle, okay. But we can't
no.
find you online anyway.
Not really.
Not really.
no.
You're very elusive. All right.
No.
There's a time for that. I
Yeah.
understand it.
And CR Gruver, we can find you online anywhere, but the New Orleans Suspects is everywhere.
They're everywhere.
And School of Rock, too. Google
School of Rock.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is exciting.
That sounds
School
really
of Rock.
interesting.
Yeah, so if you've got kids and you're looking to get some sort of musical education, and they get to actually play at Gasa Gasa.
With the band.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
and you get to go and have a few drinks while you watch them play. And Curtis Knapp, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm very glad you're living here. Hope we can all get back together soon.
Yeah.
The three of us at some
point. Next week?
Or it's four of us, actually. Next week I happen to be available. Are you free?
For this?
Yeah, anything. Or are you busy?
Oh, I'm so busy.
You're jammed up? Okay. All right.
I'm joking. Jesus.
Happy Hour has been brought to us today by Strategic Resumes. If you want to sharpen up your resume, your LinkedIn profile, or your another job search skills, give them a call at Strategic Resumes or find them online if you'd like to get away. Start your search for a travel place at Travel Central in Metairie. And if you're looking for fashion swimsuits or workout or yoga clothes with style, check out Basics Swim and Gym, where you can get a full range of fashion swimsuits and more. And they are next to the lingerie store, Basics underneath on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. And thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to hdestroyer.com, write Happy Hour on the coupon code and get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer. And you too can seize the dawn. And thank you to the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage. If you'd like to be a part of our Patreon family, go to patreon.com and search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. And for as little as $1 a month, you too can be a member of our Happy Hour family. False River is the new album that's out by Andrew Duhon. You can find that wherever you buy or steal music. Our show was produced today by Graham DePonte, our music producers, our Christian Unruh and Monique Pyle. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Asher Griffith is our Facebook live feed director who put this whole thing on Facebook. And if you listen to this as a podcast and you want to see it on Facebook, go to It's New Orleans Facebook page and you can see what we all look like. Our fact checker and social media connector is Andrew Searock. Our theme music was written by Mitch Foreman, but today it's being played by CR Gruver. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour while drinking alcohol, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can also check out many other hours of Happy Hour that we've made previous to this one, and some other shows you make around here too, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker, and our award-winning podcast about death, called Death the Podcast. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and it's batonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. And all of it we're called It's New Orleans, and you can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Facebook page. These photos were taken by Jill Lafleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com if you listen to this on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for subscribing to us. Take a moment, if you've got one, to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Ferret Street. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting. For itsneworleans.com, for Andrew Duhon, everyone else around the table here at Wayfare and back at our office at INO Broadcasting, thanks for joining us. I'm Grant Morris, and thank you to CR Gruver for playing this beautiful theme music. I could just keep on talking forever over this, but unfortunately we have to get out of here. See you next week. Hey, nice.
I earned a bachelor's degree in hospitality management. I managed a restaurant for a while and enjoyed helping others, but I wanted a different way to serve. Then I discovered the Felician Way and enrolled in Felician University's Accelerated Nursing Program. Felician ABSN is offered in two formats, a 16-month hybrid program and a 19-month on-ground program. Plus, Felician University provides a values-based education, which is important to me. Discover the Felician Way. To learn more, search Felician ABSN.